This is our Get a Taste of Life at SRG webinar. We're very excited. This is our second webinar that we've hosted. This one will actually focus a little more on our dining program and some of our signature offerings at our communities across the country. We have some representatives from all our different communities. We have some executive chefs that'll be here to talk to you about their background and their cooking philosophy and some of the elements they bring to their communities. And then we've also invited some residents as well to join us to speak about their experience and what they enjoy most about the dining experience and also community life at their community. I'm Katie. I will be the host of this webinar. I'll walk you through and the participants through questions. And then if you have any questions yourself throughout the process, at the bottom of the webinar, you'll see a Q&A button. Go ahead and click on that and you can enter your questions into the Q&A chat box. We have someone on our team that will be monitoring that to look and see what questions come up. We may be able to answer those in the chat. If not, at the end of our Q&A that we're doing here with our panelists, we'll be opening the floor up and I'll be asking some questions that you all have submitted to our panelists so that you can ask individual things that pertain to you. So I will actually get started. All the residents that are on right now, if you want to, Keo, if you want to start, maybe just introduce yourself, the community you live at, and how long you've lived there.
Good morning. I'm Keo Masuda, and I am at La Vida Del Mar in Solana Beach, California. And my husband and I, we came over a year ago on January 9th, 2023 to be exact. We've enjoyed our time so far.
Perfect. Thank you, Keo. Forrest, do you want to go next?
Yes, I'm Forrest Simonton, and I'm at Miravilla at the Domain in Austin, Texas. I've been here 4 years, almost when it opened, and I lost my wife 2 years ago, but I'm kind of spoiled here because of the activities and the many friends I've made. So I'm still here.
Okay, thank you. Nice to see you. Judy, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Judy Chang. I'm from the Peninsula del Rey in Daly City, California. I have been here with my husband for over a year. We came in April of 23, but this isn't my first time here. This is my third time here. I was here in 2019 for 5 months because of a rehabbing from a double knee replacement. And then I came back again the following year in 2020. No, not following year, I'm sorry. A few years later, 2022, I came back because I had a fall and I had a fractured pelvis. So you know, third time is the charm. I'm here for good. But I have been here. If you want to count it all up, you know, I was here like almost 2 years. You know.
Okay.
But love it, love it.
We're glad you're back.
Thank you.
Yeah. Glad to hear you're also doing better. Dolores, go ahead.
I'm Dolores Brocky. I'm from Northern California, and I live at La Vida Real in Rancho San Diego. My husband passed away in 2021, and my children were living down here and decided that it was a good idea for me to come with them. So they found La Vida, and I came down and moved right in. They had got my apartment for me, and I absolutely love it. I walked in and not knowing a soul, and now I feel like I'm part of the family. I've been here since November of 21.
Okay.
So I feel like an old timer now.
Well, we're glad to have you. Sounds like your kids are smart. Good job. Okay, so thank you for all the residents introducing yourselves, and we'll obviously be asking you some more questions throughout the webinar. We also have Sean Howard with us on the call. Sean is our Corporate Director of Food Services. So Sean, I just wanted to give you the floor for a bit. Sean is actually going to talk to you all about really our program, our dining services, some of our unique and signature programs that relate to dining, and how that, you know, we have that available at all of our communities. So Sean, go ahead.
Hi there. I'm Sean Howard. I'm the corporate director of food services for Senior Resource Group. I've been to every community. I stop in every community at least once a year. Some more than others. I've met Forrest. I've talked to Forrest over at Austin a few times, either over at the bar or at the dining room or over at the over at the cafe. So we've got and I've got good camaraderie going with our chefs. I like to, I always want to impress that we do truly run restaurants. My boss, he'll say, we're running restaurants that just happen to be attached to senior living, happen to be attached to senior housing. So that's my operation, and I take the 19 restaurants seriously, and really we employ restaurateurs. I can't do it without restaurateurs and an executive chef and a dining room manager, which is pretty unique to our operation. You don't see it with a lot of other operators. They kind of combine them and mash them into one role, but we truly have a separation of front of the house and back of the house that work together to form a restaurant. Our menus are culinary driven by our executive chef and the kitchen team. Our hospitality is hosted by that dining room manager position, and the hosts and servers and bussers that are in the restaurant. And we put out a unique product that's unique from property to property. I mean, here we have a representative of four communities plus another four chefs to make 8 communities. And at each of these 8 communities, there's a different menu today. There's a different breakfast special. There's different lunch specials. There's different dinner specials, and they're as unique to Austin as they are to Del Mar, as they are to Scottsdale, as they are to Atlanta and Buckhead. So, we have different flavors and different regions, and we really want to our restaurants speak to our residents. Our residents are unique, and it's unique to where you live. It's unique to your region. It's also unique to the trends that may be around there. I mean, Austin, I saw on their menu last night, they did Migas tacos. Austin's a taco town. So it's, I get to see all the specials from all my chefs, and they're plated and they take pictures every night. So we really get to kind of share in what our chefs are putting out on the table and how the dining room went. And it's as unique as our residents are. We talk about Dine Your Way. Dine Your Way, we have a 12-hour dining room. You can come in for breakfast at 7 or 8 or 9 or 10 or 11. You can come in for lunch anytime before 4. You really can kind of dine your way. You want to come in early, you want to come in late, you want to sit by the window, you want to sit on the patio, you want to sit in a booth, you want to sit at a table. There's a lot of individuality to our communities that really just promotes independence and really just shows the enriched brand of senior living that we promote from top to bottom. So I'll leave it at that and kind of introduce chefs, and I'll let you go from there. Was that a good intro?
That was good. Maybe Sean, if you could even just elaborate a tiny bit on some of our signature programs, the Dine Your Way, the FreshZest, some of those things, just so that the viewers get a better understanding of the expansiveness of our program.
Okay. So Dine Your Way is really just your freedom of choice. It's coming in when you want. It's sitting where you want. It's being able to get, eat in the dining room or eat in your room. It's really Dine Your Way off of your choice. You can choose off a menu, and the menu is wide. It's ever evolving. It's, you can choose, you can sit down and have a cornucopia salad. That's something that's on every menu. There's a cornucopia salad, or you can have one of the chef specials, and the chef specials are as unique to the community. So it's really Dine Your Way. You get to make your choices, and it's not everything comes with corn and mashed potatoes. No, there's multiple vegetables. There's multiple starches and grains to really kind of marry up and build your own dish. So that's kind of Dine Your Way in a nutshell. Our FreshZest program is a plant forward program where we're looking at a healthy option that's on our menu for lunch and dinner. It's one special that's there. You may not know this, but it's not just for residents. We offer our FreshZest special to all of our employees. So all of our employees can order that. And you may not know this, our employees eat for $2.50. You can't hit McDonald's for a shake for $2.50. So we're really, you know, we're doing a benefit there. We want it for their health. We want it for and we want to make sure that it's that's a great program for them. So
Perfect.
is that good for the program?
Yes, thank you, Sean. And one other thing I think that's great for residents, the Dine Your Way, you know, we don't have set meal times, right? Like you don't have to be here from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. for breakfast and you know, a certain lunch hour. It's really 12-hour dining. So you get the flexibility and the freedom to come in as you wish, dine your way with the offerings, but also the timing. So if you are more of a late riser and you want to come in for breakfast at 11, then by all means, you know. So I think that's a cool feature as well. And just want to make sure that we talk about that too. So I'm going to jump into some questions for our executive chefs. We have executive chefs, as Sean mentioned, from a variety of our communities around the country. I'm going to open up the floor. I will ask a couple questions, and chefs, please feel free to hop in and share as you'd like. And we'll just kind of keep it open and fluid. So first question would be, what inspired you to become a chef? Maybe just kind of walk us through a bit of your culinary background or exploration as to why you became a chef.
Okay, I'll go first. My name is Marta Beersley, and I am from Villa Hermosa in Tucson, Arizona. I've been with SRG for almost 2 years, 1 year, 11 months. I am a teacher. I went to school to become a teacher, but I always cooked with my grandma, and I was passionate about it. I've been cooking for 34 years, and as an executive chef, 18 years.
Wow.
So I really enjoy creating for the residents. I have this unique meeting with the residents on a weekly basis where we gather and plan the menu for the next week. I like to include, you know, their requests. Some of them share their recipes so we can recreate them so everybody else get to enjoy them. It is a very nice meeting that we have, you know, once a week. So that allows me to include the recipes and make them feel more at home here at Villahermosa.
Yeah, love that. Thank you.
Welcome.
I'll go ahead and go next. My name is Erica Escobar. I'm the executive chef here at Maravilla Scottsdale in Scottsdale, Arizona. I've been with the company now for 13 years now. So as far as why I got into culinary, I always loved the field of fine arts. Originally, that's something that I aspired to do, but my other passion was cooking. So I always kind of cooked with my mom in the kitchen, and I basically realized I could combine those two passions together. I always feel that culinary is art. Every time you have that blank canvas on your plate, that is your time to create your inspiration. So I always just thought that that was something great, and I was able to kind of get into this field. I really just grew up with the company. As far as culinary goes, I have a fantastic mentor. He's the regional director here of Arizona, Manuel Ramos. He really saw me. He kind of trained me throughout the company. I started at La Sienna, which is also one of our sister communities out in the northern area in Phoenix, Arizona. And that's something to where he saw me. He knew that I wanted to aspire and grow within the company. Started as a cook there for a couple years. And he said, hey, I have an opportunity at Maravilla of Scottsdale. Do you want to come take a look? Came here, been here ever since. Started with the cook here as well, lead cook, and then sous chef, and then eventually executive chef. And it's just, you can't really speak to anything better than that for as far as the company growing from within.
Yeah, well, congrats. That's amazing. And I can speak from experience. I've had your food visiting Scottsdale, particularly the salmon, and it's fantastic. So well done. It's great.
Very much. Thank you.
Part of Executive Chef Manny's mentoring process, you know, he's a certified executive chef. He's ACF certified, so he can proctor our serve safe classes. Like, he really helps develop, and we're all there to develop. I've got 2 other regionals, so I can't say it's all Manny, but there's 3 of us that are there to support a team that are supporting these restaurants. And even with Erica, we supported her with ACF ACF certified executive chef classes, and it's a lot of work, right? Right, Erica?
Oh, yeah, it's like doing college courses.
But you get to eat your homework, which is nice.
Best, yes.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Erica. Go, Chef Marlin, do you want to share your background for us?
Sure. Well, my grandmother was a great cook. Great cook. I remember her toasting cumin seeds to make black bean soup when I was a little boy, and there's nothing quite the smell of, fresh toasted cumin seeds being smashed. And my mother is a great cook as well, so I knew I wanted to cook from an early age. And I started very young here at a local hotel. I went to school and a few hours away from here. I moved back to Naples in 2004, and I got a job here, and I've been here ever since. I love working here. I love my teammates. I love my team. I have, some of my guys here have a 20-year tenure, basically since the Carlisle started. And it's a great community, and it's not only us, but you make friends with residents through the programs that we have. Just today I just finished serving our monthly birthday dinner luncheon, and that's something that we really take a lot of pride in. We just had a huge success for Mother's Day. So we make, we have great relationships with our residents and our teammates. But as far as cooking goes, yes, that's the only thing I ever wanted to do.
Very cool. Thank you. And how long, sorry, have you been at the Carlisle Naples?
Since the end of 2005.
Okay. All right.
I was hired on as a sous chef, and then I started, I was hired 2 or 3 years later as an executive chef.
Okay. Now, I have not had the pleasure of visiting the Carlisle Naples and trying your food, but I have heard it's fantastic.
Thank
So,
you.
kudos.
Thank you.
And Chef William, you're up. Oh, Chef William, you're muted.
Well, hello. I'm William. I'm the executive chef here at La Vida Real, and I've been with the company for about 7 years total so far. And I don't know, my inspiration for becoming a chef was I like to play with food, and not just with my hands on the food, but just as far as being creative. I think a lot of that stemmed from long summers. My mom was a single mother for a while, so summertime I had a lot of free time to kind of like dig around in the pantry, dig around the fridge, and kind of, just create things. And so from there, it just became that kind of, that free area to be creative with food, to try new things, to watch, and watching these chefs all of a sudden becoming, out of all these shows that you never got to see, back when I was growing up. You had to get recipes from your grandma or friends or somebody that would give you those things. And then as that thing started to develop with the online and recipes and whatnot, then I think cooking became a little bit more fun. So with that inspiration, it was just something I always wanted to do. And I think there's something to be said about the camaraderie of a kitchen with all your group of people. It's like your second family. And that was always kind of something that always seemed like another fun road to go down, to work with these people that you're working 10, 12 hours with, and you're spending all the holidays with. So that was something that I think is really special. And to speak with the Carlisle Naples, we have probably about 3 cooks that have been working there for about 20 years, one for 18 and one for 15. And there's just nothing else I'd rather do.
Very cool. Well, thank you. Well, I'm going to flip it over actually to the residents. Some of you, Dolores, obviously Chef William, his food very well because you eat it every day. But for some of the other residents, we would love to hear, what is your favorite dish or special or something unique that your chef does at your community?
Oh, well, they make the best soup I've ever had. I never ate a lot of soup before. Now I can't have dinner without soup. It's wonderful. They do shrimp wonderful. And one thing, since I came, I never ate much seafood, shrimp maybe. Since I've been here, between Chef Will and Chef Kevin, they have turned me on to salmon and all the other different fish. I can't believe I'm eating fish. So I'm very pleased with the cooking and the food. It's wonderful.
Good.
Well, I'll have to say that our chef is also excellent. Excuse me. Chef Romero has been with us, I didn't realize, but for 30 years. I thought it was 25. So I think he outnumbered some of our other chefs that we're introduced to today. And just like Dolores, she loves the soup. I was never much of a soup eater, but I have to admit, every evening we have something different. Asparagus soup, gosh, pozole, and that is something special that I I don't know if the other chefs would make that, but my husband loves it. And so he's put in a special request. So Romero makes it every so often for him. And rather than a cup, William orders a bowl. So
Can't get
anyway,
enough.
Well, thanks to Sean, we got a new chef. He's been with us, Joe has been with us for about a couple months, maybe 3. Time goes by so fast. But his style of cooking, I mean, he has specialties. So he does a lot of Italian. But also we have such a diversity of residents here at PDR. It's you know, a lot of Asians that have come in lately. So it's a challenge for Joe, even though, you know, he has the specialty of Italian, but he is so open to our suggestions and how he communicates with us. He's very friendly, so he knows everybody and everybody knows him. And we always talk very casually with him, but we also have comment cards, good and bad comments now. These are not just like, oh yeah, oh, that such and such is not the greatest or whatnot. He gets positive ones, and because he's such a good cook. And he reads them every day. I mean, every night when he goes home, I think he brings home a stack of comment cards, and he appreciates that because he wants to hear from us. He wants to cook for us. And I think, you know, we appreciate that. And he does a lot of research, especially for healthy stuff. And he's introduced us to so many just very healthy choices, which we appreciate. And now he tells us it's good, it tastes good, and the way he makes it to let us try. And then when he does the it's the one where he
The Let's
demonstrates.
Dish?
Yeah, that right.
Yeah.
The Let's Dish. He introduces some of this and explains it's, you know, what you can benefit from it. And then if you like it, or even if you did, well, yeah, if you like it, but he's doing it as a trial, and then he will serve it you know, on the entree, as an entree. And so, yeah, it's great. I like his style. He's very good.
Well, that's good to hear. I know that's a fun and unique aspect that all the communities have is the Let's Dish. You know, allows residents, like you had said, Judy, to really just have an intimate conversation and understand from the chefs what they're, you know, preparing, some new specials they want you all to try. You can give feedback. So it's kind of cool that you can help, you know, shape a bit of the menu and some of the offerings that to things that you all would like to have. So we love that.
And
Um,
I have to cut in here. I thank Judy for the credit, but you know, Chef Joe did he did apply through a recruiting process. We have a recruiting process within our company that just really allows us to get really good candidate flow. And executive director Catherine Tazawa, she reached out to Jove and had everything lined up. And something we do that not all operators do either. We stage our chefs. Stage is a fancy word in French. It means stage. And we put them on stage. We have them do a cooking demonstration. We have them make 4 plates for us. We give them a whole chicken. We have them break down that chicken down to the bones and bring down a breast and a leg. And we want them to cut it into primal cuts. And we want to see their skill in front of it. And then we want to see their flavors, and we want to see their passion for the plate. We also want to see how they interact within the kitchen, within the people there. We don't do them when the kitchen's closed. We do them in the middle of lunch. When the kitchen's busy, we put our team members in here and our candidates in there, and really we want them to show their stuff. And I've had a pleasure of staging all of our chefs, most of our chefs that are here since me. And Chef Jove, I told Judy, I said, he was halfway through his demo, and I said, Catherine, let's start talking dollars. We're gonna hire him. He's the way he talks in the kitchen, the way he moves in the kitchen, his culinary skill, everything. I said, I'm 100%, and we offered him Friday, and I came in on Monday to train him. So it was I like to call him my unicorn, but he's Chef Jove is amazing chef, and I'm really happy to have him, and I'm really happy for Peninsula Del Rey.
Yeah, I've heard he's great. It's exciting.
Laura.
Yeah, Forrest, how about you?
Yeah, we have a fairly new chef, Alex. He came from, I guess he was recruited or moved closer into town from a high-end senior living community. And through the Let's Dish, we're really whipping him into shape. On what
Good.
no,
Keep on his toes, Forrest.
he's really good, but mainly in the vegetable area. We like more steamed vegetables, and he's really been good to us and brought really good vegetables. But my highlight of the day is breakfast. Anything from pancakes to eggs to omelets to oatmeal. And there's probably 12 of us are there around 7 a.m. every morning. If someone's not there, we get on the phone, make sure they're okay. But breakfast is probably the highlight of the meals for me.
Yeah.
But in the evenings, we had osso buco the
Mm.
other day. Oh my goodness. It was tremendous. And then we had a sea bass. These are unusual entrees, but both of those were outstanding. But I'll go back to one of the other ones. The fish is probably my go-to, and salmon for sure.
Yeah, I agree with you. Salmon's a good one. Well, good. Thank you for sharing. To kind of piggyback on this question, one more for the residents, and then we'll go back to the chefs. Obviously, the food is a huge driver, and it sounds like you all love the food at your communities, and there's a ton of variety, lots of fresh options, which we love. But aside from the food, I guess you could say, what's your favorite thing about mealtime? Obviously, it sounds like, Forrest, you meet with a group of friends, other residents every morning, so it's kind of a ritual, and you all get together and get to chat and start the day off. But is there anything about mealtime when everyone comes together that you find to be the most enjoyable, in addition to the delicious food, of course?
With me, going to the dining room is a great experience. As a newcomer or even as a seasoned person, I consider my seasoned,
Yeah.
but I get to meet new people. That's really the hub of, the Grand Central Station of the community. When new people come in, you can catch that face and say, oh, that person's new. Okay, I think I'll go over and say hi at least, right? Introduce myself, and if it works, you might have a long life friend there. You made a long life friend. But yeah, I think for me, it's meeting the new residents and getting to know more of the community, and to me, that's important. I'm kind of a people person, and I like to meet new people, and then that's a way of welcoming them, making them feel comfortable. I remember when I first came here, and I was here by myself, and I'd walk in, and I didn't know anybody, and unless somebody came up to say hi or offer you a cup of coffee in the bistro or something. And when I first came, I was in a wheelchair too, and so couldn't reach the counter to get myself a cup of coffee. And it was really great when the residents would come up to me and say, hi, I'm so-and-so, and I'll say, hi, I'm so-and-so. And then I said, can I help you get the coffee? Because she could clearly see that I could not reach the pump, And I said, oh, you're a lifesaver, And so you meet people,
Yeah.
and you make friends.
Yeah, I love that. Anybody else want to share?
I agree with her about meal times being for people. Like her, I'm a people person, and I enjoy the camaraderie and the little bit of gossip that goes around. And we're just so fortunate to have such a wonderful place to do all this. It's It's just wonderful.
Yeah.
You know, it's difficult for all of us to come to a senior living facility, and downsizing, we could probably all tell very similar stories, moving away from our home. And so when you go to eat, it's a warm feeling for people to let you sit with them or ask you to sit with them. So I agree with Judy. It's an important part of the community.
Absolutely. The heart of the community, really, right? The kitchen, the dining room. It's a great spot. We've heard that from a lot of residents that the mealtime is great because, as you all said, they get to meet other residents. They get to welcome new residents. They get to sit with people maybe they've never met before. And then as you start talking, you get to know one another, sharing really cool stories, learning about someone's life, what they did. So you learn so many new things about people that you didn't even realize and create new bonds. So mealtime, it's one of my favorites as well. It's always a good time to catch up with friends. Well, thank you for sharing. Yeah.
I just wanted to say I enjoy meal times, and I've really made some wonderful friends. Well, with everyone's wonderful. And there are a few people that, well, everyone has an interesting life, very interesting life. And it's a time that we've shared. And what I've done is we have what we call a residence forum, where residents can share something that they enjoy doing, they were an expert at or something. And I've made PowerPoint videos of them, and we've had what we call residence forums meetings. And for example, we have a couple at our place, and they were volunteers at the White House. Where they lived in Washington, D.C. And they met the president. They did all kinds of things that at the White House, worked in the mail room, etc. Met all kinds of dignitaries. And anyway, they shared their story, and I met them, of course, in the dining room. We got together. I made PowerPoints for them, and gosh, Will and I, we did a presentation on the internment camp. We have another person who did it on science. He was a scientist. Anyway, it's a great place to expand not only our understanding and appreciation of the people there, but for everyone else too also. So anyway, it's
very interesting. It would probably be very interesting conversations at mealtime, learning about this stuff. Yeah, very cool. Well, thank you for sharing. Just a reminder also for everyone watching, if you do have questions that come up, just make sure that you put them in the Q&A chat box, and we will answer those towards the end when we've finished asking some of these questions. To move on, we'll ask the chefs a couple more questions. Can you walk us through maybe the process of which you go through for developing a new dish or menu at your community? What does that look like? How do you kind of decide? Sounds like a lot of you take feedback from your residents and maybe from the Let's Dish sessions, but is there anything else that you do, or how do you present new menu items and roll those out at your communities?
Well, and we just passed Mother's Day, so I saw a ton of creativity, and we're doing nice big holiday events at least twice a month, it feels like. And so if anybody has a really special thing they did for Mother's Day, I'd go back to the anniversary party or the spring event that Chef Will did. He made this cassoulet, and he did these he did this duck confit, and he did 6 birds. And I mean, it was the most amazing thing I've ever tasted. So I'll leave that as my inspiration for you guys. And why don't we start with Will?
Yeah. So what we spoke on, like at least with the Let's Dish and stuff like that, we use that as like a tester. But as far as like creating new things, and listening to our residents, a lot of it is just kind of I don't know, like whatever is inspiring at the moment. Sometimes like I'll be watching something on TV and I see like, I don't know, this, I just see something that reminds me, you know, I want to do something with duck. I want to do something with lamb. I want to do something with this. And then knowing the important thing is knowing the residents. And we have to know what their expectations are with the food. As far as like, obviously we don't do anything like really spicy, but knowing what they're expecting with flavors and things like that. And then from there, you just kind of, you just let the creativity flow. And I think it's also having those conversations daily when you're walking out and you're talking to everybody. When the weather starts getting cold, I'm going to be doing a lot of braising dishes and a lot of like roasting and stuff like that. When we hit summertime, you know, the zest really shines then because we can do a lot of really light food. We do a lot like very bright citrusy kind of vinaigrettes and stuff like that. So, you know, the seasons are definitely they come into play. So it's kind of like all encompassing. It's the seasoning. It's listening to my residents. It's what I'm seeing. What am I eating at home? That's like, oh my God, I really want to try this. Like I go to the farmers markets and I walk around and I see produce. I see different things. I'll bring in random tropical fruit and we'll all just kind of try it. And then from there, it's okay, what do we do? And then that's when you can kind of lean on your cooks that have been there for a while too. And so it's just a big group effort. And then I think that's what makes it really fun and special is it's not just me, it's myself, it's my cooks, it's my residents, it's everything around us that's really bringing these ideas to the forefront.
Perfect, thank you. Any other chefs want to share maybe sort of your process or, you know, how you put together, maybe like Sean had mentioned, a larger celebration, Mother's Day, or, you know, just a new rollout of some new fresh specials?
Well, especially events, you know, they take a lot of work, but it's well worth it. You know, some of our residents, you know, they're here all year round. So when these things come around, we really have to shine.
Mhm.
And I think for me, you know, I get emails almost every day from my purveyors. We have these, you know, vegetables, berries, citrus. Here in Florida, we get a lot of different fish and stuff like that. So, you know, I compare things, you know, within my knowledge, sauces and fish and meats, like the previous chef was talking about seasons. And here in Florida, it's just hot. So, you know, we do stews, but not that often because it's just they're heavy and it's hot.
Mhm.
You know, so we're on the lighter side. And I try to teach all my cooks here, you know, we season lightly, but we season thoroughly. Because, you know, I like my food to be subtle and gentle, not too aggressive. And I think some of our residents appreciate that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a great point because we do have communities across the country, many on the West Coast, some East Coast, and some, you know, obviously Austin, Arizona. So depending on, you know, regionally based, it doesn't, you know, for you, Chef Marlin, you're making different types of dishes perhaps because it's usually pretty warm in Florida versus some of the other locations in the Northwest that may get a little colder and want some, you know, more hearty soups. So it's good that there's such a diverse option of menu items throughout the communities, and it's also very regionally, I think, inspired, which is nice for the residents.
Sure.
Okay.
I would definitely say, as far as Maravilla Scottsdale goes, obviously we live in Arizona, so it gets extremely hot here. So a lot of the inspiration comes seasonally as well. So a fan favorite for our residents here are maybe some of those chilled soups that we do. Gazpacho is a big hit here in our community. So taking inspiration, equally from, you know, the residents, whether they have comment cards that we go through, you know, every single day, or maybe it's something that is trending throughout the culinary world. And maybe that's something that some of our more adventurous residents would like to see or like us to feature. A lot of our residents have traveled globally and they're very diverse in a lot of the entrees that they've had throughout their lives. So I think that kind of speaking with them kind of makes it a lot easier as far as me being the chef here to feature some newer items and kind of get a lot of feedback from them as well. So that's always very helpful as far as maybe trying something a little bit different and kind of getting their feedback from that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, one other question I wanted to ask you all too is, of course, we learned a bit about your culinary backgrounds, why you chose to become chefs, and just your time and tenure with SRG and some of the things you love. But I guess to roll it back even, further, what made you all choose to become executive chefs or even start your culinary career in senior living? Obviously, it's a different space. It's a very unique. You're with residents every day, so you get to build those relationships a little bit differently than you would with sort of a freestanding restaurant. So, do any of you have any stories or reasons, particularly why you chose to work at your career or in senior living in general?
I'll start. I jumped into senior living in 2003, and prior to 2003, I did a lot of fast casual restaurant openings. I worked with the Cheesecake Factory opening up restaurants. I worked with Paul Fleming at PF Chang's. I mean, I did a lot of these fast casual environments, and then I also did hotel, and it's a grind. I mean, Will talked about 10, 12-hour day, that's like a 12 to 14-hour day. It can be tough. And then it's a late night. It kind of drags you away from life, and really kind of got centered into senior living. It became an opportunity. And my first, my first kitchen was in Seal Beach. And I had residents, and I opened a new building, and I built relations, and I just really found a home. Home is where the heart is. It's where the meals are served, and it really just brought me into kind of being out there and around there, to really just being centered and feeling the appreciation and gratitude that really builds hospitality with just by doing something you love and have an appreciation for it.
Thank you. Any other chefs want to share?
Yeah, I can agree with that. I done the hotels, country clubs, restaurants. Last restaurant I worked for, I was working from 7 a.m. to 11 o'clock at night. One time I came home and my wife asked me, "Are you married to me or to your restaurant?" So basically, I started working here, and I realized that there's life, because I get to come here, I still get to cook what I love, and I get to go home and see my children. So it's a win-win for me. At this
Yeah.
point in my life, it sure is.
Yeah.
I mean, I would definitely have to agree with that. I think that when I decided to come over to senior living, I had two offers, and one was senior living, one was for another hotel, and I really had to weigh those options. And it was, I want to go home and be a part of my family. And it wasn't just that, but I think there was something when I was talking, Dolores had mentioned Kevin, and that I was the sous chef when I was first hired in senior living at La Vida Real, and now I'm the executive chef. So to weigh that out, I had to think about all those different options. And a lot of it was Kevin had mentioned, he's like, okay, you're working fine dining. How do you bring fine dining into senior living? And so I'm like huge when it comes to challenges. So if somebody poses a challenge, I'm going to accept it, and I want to win, I want to beat it. And so it was like, how do we do that? And not just that, but when we make a menu in a restaurant or any hotels, it's seasonally, so they last 3 to 4 months, and then you're changing a menu. We're changing the menu every single day. And so that was another challenge that I thought was just like, all right, I think it's a challenge to make those menus that change like every 3 months. How do I take those ideas that take me, quite a while to come up with, and how do I interchange them every single day? And a lot of that is, a lot of that works based on the residents.
Mhm.
We do all sorts of food at La Vida Real. We do Italian, Mexican, French, everything. So that was a way we kind of like, we did it, is we kind of pick days, and when we have ideas for those days, like on a Thursday we'll do Italian food, on Tuesday we do tacos. And so from there, I think that was a way to develop that. But that just seemed really like a lot of fun, and
Yeah.
and to be able to do that in an environment where you're able to do that and be creative, I thought was I wanted to hop on board.
Yeah. No, I love that. I think that makes sense and gives you guys the creative freedom, and also the ability to try some new stuff, which is fun. Okay, so back over to our residents. For you, when you were considering the community that you live at now, I know some of you, Dolores told us that, you know, her kids chose, which they chose well. We're okay with them, right, Dolores?
Yeah.
But for those of you who were considering other communities, what about the culinary program at your community stood out from other communities that you were considering that you thought, you know what, food's important to me. We all love food. We all love going to eat. So was there something that stood out to you that made you think, yeah, this community is more my style because of the dining options and opportunities?
Yeah, definitely with me, I really liked the dining options, okay? If from seating to the times, you know, I actually didn't really see any places, I'm sorry, except for one place, but I wasn't considering it for me. But my children actually checked out all the other facilities to check out the different ones. I was unable to because I was in a wheelchair or
Yeah.
I just wasn't able to check it out. That was the first time. But then after I came, you know, that first time, I knew that I was going to settled at this place, and I am settled. I am a resident, long-term, you know, that's resident, not temporary. But the thing is that, aside from that, I just didn't like the ideas of being seated at set times for dining, sitting with the same residents. It's not that I'm antisocial. Just the opposite. I want to be able to, you know, channel the knowing other residents instead of seeing the same four or the same six or, you know, whatever. And so that was a biggie for me. And
Right.
but otherwise, I didn't check any other places. My kids just told me that after checking like a half a dozen places it has to be in the surrounding area too, you know, because this is the ideal situation for us as a family, because both of my kids are like 4 minutes away, 6 minutes away.
Oh,
And
nice.
so, yeah. So anyway, but that, yeah, so yes, the dining times and seating was very important to me. Yeah.
Okay, good. Any other
I
residents?
don't know that, I did visit other communities and, you know, you would have lunch more than dinners at the other communities. So I thought here in Austin that Maravilla was good. And it really turned out to be better because of the staff. I mean, if you're sick, they'll bring food. They'll come
Oh.
up, they'll check on you. So the food is better than average, very good. Lots of fruit, vegetables, like all that. When you add in the quality of the staff, it's even better.
Yeah, absolutely. That makes a meal.
Well, when we first came, actually, I didn't even think about the food because we moved down to the Del Mar area because our son is here, and we moved down from the Bay Area where we've been forever. And the primary reason we chose this La Vida is because we're 5 minutes from our son's place. And then, of course, the dining room, I thought, oh, yeah, the food is quite good. And what really did impress me was the staff and in the dining room, well, the whole place. They were so friendly and so accommodating of our, you know, what my needs were, my husband's needs as a diabetic. He's got a special diet. And if it isn't on the menu, like maybe it's sauteed vegetables, I'll ask if we could have it steamed. Very accommodating, you know, for his diet also. And what is Nicole's dining room manager? And the dining room manager is marvelous. She is the greatest go-between us and the kitchen and everyone else on the staff. So anyway, yeah, I just wanted to say that oh, and another thing. So talking with some of our friends who are in other senior citizens places, we are so fortunate to have the variety every day, not only for breakfast, but for lunch and dinner. My sister-in-law is in a very nice place up in the Bay Area. And she says they have 4 entrees, but they are the same for lunch and dinner.
Mm.
I said, what? Anyway, we're lucky.
They're like, not here. We got
Not
lots
here.
of options.
Right.
Well, thank you.
I'd like to say something about
Yeah.
Chef Will and his staff. On Monday nights is Asian night, and they make one of the best dim sums I've ever had. I never miss their dim sum. Oh, they're Fritz. And I just want to say that I appreciate that. And their French onion soup on Friday night. I never miss.
Dolores is a soup lover now, so like she's
yeah.
just give her a soup every night and a salmon, and she's fine.
In
Thank you,
Joe's,
Laura.
in Joe's defense, in Joe's side of it, he makes good soup. I mean, there's some more favorites, of course, but oh boy, does he do a mean minestrone soup. Oh, he could do that every day for me, I tell you.
I would imagine, chefs, you probably, if you do sort of, schedule your meals based on certain, genres or cuisine types, you probably see certain residents, like they're more popular days than others. I would imagine for those who love Italian versus Asian versus Mexican, I would assume you guys kind of see some repeats that love the dishes and some of the cuisine styles. So that's cool. So that gives you good feedback as well as to what they're loving.
Well, on Wednesdays, everyone knows that they can have family come because it's prime rib night. Does everyone have a prime rib night? It's very famous here.
Well, I'm sure I need to stop by and visit actually on Wednesday then. Okay, perfect. Let's see. We have not too much time left, so I want to get to maybe one more question, at least for our residents. So we did touch a bit on FreshZest, which is one of our signature programs as part of the Zest Wellness program. And it's of course, the cuisine element of that. And the idea that it's a plant forward menu options, because we know that many of the fruits and vegetables and all of those things have a lot of health benefits. So what do any of you residents like, do you enjoy the FreshZest menus? Do you frequently eat off of the menus? And perhaps if you do you have a favorite item that your chef makes that's it's a plant forward option? I know we have a prime rib nights, very, very popular, but perhaps on the other end of that, is there something on the FreshZest menu that you particularly enjoy?
Salads are wonderful. I've had a few of their salads. Cornucopia salad is fantastic. But and their veggie burgers on the FreshZest
Yeah.
are wonderful. I never had one before. I tell you, since I came here, I've tried more things than I did my whole life.
That's what it sounds like. Yeah, we're opening your eyes here, Dolores.
I've tried, they asked me, well, try this. Well, okay, I tried an oyster. I never had an oyster before and I liked it.
Oh.
And the salmon, I never had touched salmon before in my whole life. I'm 84. So I think it has a lot to do with the way it's prepared.
Yeah.
Our FreshZest, yeah, I always pretty much every day touch upon it, whether it be at lunchtime or dinner. It's repeated, of course, right? And I think one of my favorites, absolute favorite, is the portobello mushroom. How he makes that. And he just comes up with, quinoa and all this kind of stuff in it, which I used to say, okay, what is that? But at the at the Let's Dish, I was introduced to quinoa, okay? I
Okay.
mean, I'd heard of it and I probably tried it, but the way Joe does it, he makes it very interesting and of course, very healthy. Even down to the spices, that he uses, okay? He'll season it and salt it, but he doesn't use salt, you know what I mean? That kind of thing, right? And so, but then the first time I had it, with the quinoa, and then on the menu, it was portobello mushroom, with the quinoa, and it's good. I mean, it's really good. I happen to like portobello mushroom. You could do that anyway, and I'll eat it. And luckily he does. It is on the menu, and so when it is, I'm there.
Sounds good.
I think as I've aged, I eat about half as much, well, maybe 60% as much as I used to. And sometime for dinner, I'll definitely look like grilled pineapple salad, strawberry goat cheese salad, just some flavors. But it's not as heavy and I feel better.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll look at them.
Good. And we did have a question come in that I just wanted to clarify for our chefs. So FreshZest, the plant forward options, are there on your menus, are there always vegetarian options available daily for all meal periods for residents to choose?
Always,
Always. Okay.
always.
Good. So we have, let's see, we've only got about 3 minutes left. I think I'm just going to open up the floor to all of our panelists to see if there's anything you would like to share about your community, about your experience when it comes to dining and the programming, your chef, any relationships that you've created with some of the team members that are in the dining room. Anything you'd like to share for our viewers would be great, and would love to hear what you have to say.
I'd like to say something about breakfast. We haven't talked about breakfast.
Yes.
We have wonderful breakfast. Another thing I'd never had was eggs Benedict, because I thought, oh, ew, that doesn't sound good. Well, it got me to try it, and I have it every Sunday morning now. And their biscuits and gravy and their omelets. Oh, so I don't eat lunch very often because I usually eat breakfast and then dinner.
Okay.
Their breakfasts are wonderful, and their Belgian waffles. Oh, wonderful, wonderful. That's all I can.
Chef William, you've turned Dolores into a foodie, it sounds like.
That's right.
Turned me around completely. He's ruined me.
Yeah, he has. You can't go anywhere else.
One thing I have to say about the dining room staff, and that includes, of course, the servers, who we don't quite see behind the scenes, right? I know they're busy back there making good food for us. But the servers, oh my goodness, I was most impressed. They all know your names and your room numbers, okay, even though you just moved in. And then I kind of found out later, much later, how they were able to accomplish that. And I don't know if I should share it or not, if it's kind of a secret thing that I shouldn't share. But I still was very impressed with how they knew us.
Yeah.
And you walk in and say, "Good morning, Miss Chang," or some of them after I got to know them, "Good morning, Judy, Miss Judy," like that, which I love better than Mrs. Chung.
Yeah.
But anyway, just wonderful. I mean, where do you get servers that come and hug you to welcome you back when I came back from 2019 to 2022, and then again in 2023? And I mean, they just saw, they didn't forget me. I went away for a couple of years and then I came back and then I went away again and I came back. But it's like you just picked it up right from where you left off, but yeah, you get hugs, you get, like it doesn't even have to be your birthday. And but anyway, it's just wonderful. No, it's just wonderful. I love the staff,
Yeah.
in the dining room as well as the rest of the facility, but
Yeah.
especially in the dining room, it's just very special.
Good. Well, thank you so much for to all of our panelists for joining, our residents, our executive chefs. I know you're all very busy. To everyone watching, thank you for joining. We will be doing quarterly webinars throughout the year. So our next one, we will be sending out information as to the date and time. That'll all be around our Zest Wellness program. So stay tuned. You'll see some details come out about that. And then for those of you who are interested in a community in your local area, or one that you hopped on the webinar to learn about, please do reach out. We'd love to give you a tour. You can visit the website, srgseniorliving.com, and we would love to show you around, and you can meet some of these wonderful residents and executive chefs that you've heard from today. So thank you, everyone. We appreciate your time, and we will see you next time.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
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 Bye.